Hey, so in this video, we're just going to be going over the overview of the AI assistant. So what I'm talking about is pretty much all this stuff up the top here and the toolkit down the side. So in terms of the prompt, we should have already gotten the prompt set up in the quick start guide, but the next video is going to be the advanced prompting. So we're going to be going into diving a bit deeper into the prompt and making it a little bit more advanced and showing you all the options you can do in the next video. But this one is just going to show you how the toolkit works and everything that's going on up here. So to get us started, you just have your assistant's name up the top here, of course. You can change that if you need to. And then here's the ID. The ID is what we'll copy in and pasting into the automations under the make AI call action so that it chooses which assistant to make the calls. So that's the ID there. And as you can see here, there's actually an ID tag created. So this is the assistant's ID as well. And this is for SMS. So in the SMS video on how to set that up, that's going to be a separate video as well. But you can, just so you know what's going on here, it's the assistant's ID created. As for every assistant that gets created, there's going to be an ID automatically put in here. Now, as we go into the text video, I like to change this to be a bit more basic. I like to call my assistants in each order, like Agent 1, Agent 2, Agent 3, or Assistant 1, 2, 3, and actually put a name on them there. Same with my workflows as well. So moving across here, you do have the actual AI model. So this is like the brain of the AI. Currently I'm on 4.0, but as these get better, it might be worth clicking on one of them and going in the voice lab and seeing if you can notice any differences. But this is pretty much the brain of the AI here. Now, jumping into the next one, this is just all results. So it's just making sure that everything's ready to go. So voice works, chat works, and there's no errors. Now, as you can see here, my voice didn't work because I don't have a phone number here. But if you want to actually do this and set it all up and make sure everything's working, once you get your phone number in, that will work, of course. This is just inviting other people into the sessions. So you can send them a collab link if you want other people to come in here and have a look at the AI. Otherwise, they're pretty much just invited anyway once they're in the Go High Level CRM. But if it's someone that you, for whatever reason, wouldn't want in the Go High Level CRM, but want them in the AI side of things, that's how you can invite them in here. Now, jumping into the next one, this is just toggling the chat latency and the voice latency up the top here. So the more information you feed the AI and the more that tools get used and stuff like that, it will affect the latency. So right now the AI is replying in 0.6 seconds and the chat's replying in 18 seconds. Also, we can just get rid of that to get it down to a shorter time. See, now normally it replies within like 3 seconds, but here's your wait time, which we'll get into. Jumping in here is just generating a prompt. So when the AIs get created originally, there's an option where you can generate an assistant with a prompt. This is just pretty much an internal prompt generation in here where you can tell the AI what to do and it can create a prompt for you the same way. Now here is just checking the version histories of who did what and when there were saves. And here's going to be issues. So for example, issues might say you don't have a phone number, your prompt is over 8,000 characters. Any issues will pop up here and you can just click on them and they'll clear. Of course, you've got your save changes up here. Moving into the top here, you do have notifications for if there was call rejecteds. You can just click on them to clear the notifications. And you also just have a connection to just make sure that it's actually connected to your CRM. So this is the OAuth connection. So just the connection between Go High Level and Orbital AI. Now, moving in over here, the builder is just your prompt. You are going to have your voice lab where you can click start call, make sure your microphone is allowed on, and here's where you can start talking to the AI and testing. So the AI will speak to you back and forth fully from the prompt, but the thing is, doesn't use tools, can't book appointments, won't know your name or any information about you. It's pretty much just following the prompt, but in terms of using like a custom field, that won't work, booking appointments, anything like that. So this is a way to do it for free though, where if you're calling the AI, you're going to use voice minutes, but if you do it in here, it's just a free way for it to work. Same with the chat lab, works the exact same. You can text the AI and it'll reply back with you, but same rules apply with that. You're also going to have the options to clear the conversations. And now what we'll do is up the top here, as we were talking about the tags, this is the tag that if it's applied to a contact, it's going to trigger the AI to text back. Now that's in the chat video. We won't get into that in this video. I'll just let you know that that's what that's for and its use purpose. You can click settings here and you can see all the tags. If there's coming too many tags because you're making a lot of agents, you can delete them and assign them, like create new ones with actual names instead of the codes. and assign them to each assistant. So if you were to create a tag, for example, you can create a tag, click on here, link it to whatever assistant you'd want to link it to, and then make the tag here. I normally do AI SMS on. If you have multiple assistants, you could do like AI 1 SMS on. Click the plus here. And that's how that's added there. Now coming back into here, this is your phone number section over here. Now it'll normally display the phone number if you've sent us your regulatory bundle to get the mobile numbers in Australia approved. Otherwise, when we come in here, it's going to have it, and we will have had this number already imported for you. I'll show you what that'll look like on one of our accounts that do have phone numbers. So here's what it'll look like. You're going to have the number and the name. You can also name the phone number as well if you liked. The name here I could put as like outbound caller, or like Australian mobile, whatever you'd want it to be. And then it's going to have the linked assistant that it's linked to, so you can come in here and change it if you did want to make any adjustments with the ID, and then that's the phone number there. So here I've changed it to Australian mobile. You can see here where it was last updated. And reputation, it's not always 100% accurate. So if it does say marked as spam, there's a chance that it could also not be marked as spam, and vice versa. But it does have a reputation here on if the number's good or if it will pop up as spam. In terms of verifying numbers, you can click on this, but this is for Americans only at this stage, where you can actually get the number registered to your business to reduce the likelihood of spam. And then we're going to have the linked assistant here. You can always refresh if you need to, make adjustments if you need to, and delete the number if you need to. So the last thing is the voice. So you can click on the voice here, and you're going to get a ton of voices here. You do get ages, genders, accents, and providers. But in terms of like these are just for white labeled. So if we were to go to like Australia, a lot of voices don't actually show up. So that's why I have a document, and I'll pull that up now. Now this is a document that you can view inside the training. So if you come down to AI assistants and click on it, you're going to see here some of the best voices that we recommend. Now, the stars are some of the main ones that we do use, and you can see it has a voice speed and a voice temperature. So if I was to search Ellie up in here, just click enter, there's Ellie that's popped up here. You can also favorite the voices or unfavorite the voices. But if I add Ellie as the voice, I'll then come into settings and look at the talk speed and the voice emotion that was recommended in here. So 105 and 1, and I would change that to 105. Let's say we'll change this to 105 speed, and I think it was 1.1 emotion. Oh, just one emotion. And so that would be how it would work in terms of like you adjusting the voice speed and the emotion. It is different for everyone. As you can see, there's quite some big differences among the voices. My favorite voices, I just get the Australian voices straight from 11 Labs and import them in, which is also something that can be done. You can import a voice in here from 11 Labs and check out the library. If you find any voices you like, import them in and you can get them going. Also, in terms of here, you can clone a voice. So you can upload a file of a voice. What I recommend if you did want to do voice cloning is to have about 10 minutes of someone talking normal. You don't really need many, like if you don't want it reading a script and stuff like that, you want them almost just their voice in a normal conversation. So if you had like 10 minutes of a file of someone talking, you can put that in here. Of course, you want to make sure that you follow the guidelines and that they're like, it's not illegal or fraudulent or harmful or impersonating like someone like known or famous or something like that. Just have like, you're not a normal person that you know to do that if that's what you'd want to do and that they consent to it. So that's the voice side of things. And then as we actually do get into the tools now, I will start with the voice tools. So the voice engine, you can just keep that on default, but there is multiple options here from 11 Labs. Like the only thing you might need is multilingual if that's like using multiple languages. Your response speed, I would keep that at 1 at max. Like if you have it anything lower than like 0.9 or 0.95, the AI is going to take a little while to respond, and that'll also interrupt the latency here. But you want them just replying back at a normal speed, so I normally put it as 1 at the highest. And sensitivity to interruption, so this is going to be like whether the AI doesn't get interrupted at all, or if it's being mindful to audio input. Now, I normally have mine at about like 0.7 to 0.8 range. 0.75 is pretty good. It's just the AI not talking over the person. So if you find that a lot of the people that you hear on the phone talking to the AI, like they're talking over the AI, it's best to lower this a little bit. But if you find that the AI is talking over them, then you'd want to raise it a little bit. Just so that normally if someone actually starts talking and cuts the AI off, the AI will stop talking and listen to them and then reply back. Talk speed and voice emotion, as I said, it's different for every voice. So you just come in there and check what it is in the doc. I've got like the best voices in the doc as well. These are pretty much all the best Australian ones. And then these ones here are all American ones predominantly. Now, language processor, you can just keep it on English. There is multiple options here as well though. And then speech-friendly formatting, you want that on English as well. It's just the way the AI reads things. So like and translates it into everyday conversational language. Back channel is you want to probably have on as well. It's just the AI saying, yeah, during conversation. It doesn't do it a lot, so it's not like it's going to be a big thing. It just happens occasionally. So I normally keep them two on as well. Moving into just this prompt part here. Now, for a prompt to work really well, you don't want to flood the AI with a lot of information. So we have a limit here of like 8,024 characters is best for an AI to read it and understand it going into a call. Okay. If you feel like you do use more than 8,000 characters, it's probably just because a huge knowledge in the business is put into the prompts. Like if you had like company overview and you had like a lot of frequently asked questions, what it would be better to do is go into the knowledge base, create a knowledge base. Now, I will say knowledge base does only work for SMS for free. Otherwise, we have a thing called RAG, and we just like it's something that you can just set up and sign up here. So let's say I'll just make one called knowledge base. You can enable voice there, and what that's actually going to be doing, and there is going to be a knowledge base video, so we'll get into a bit more depth later in one of the knowledge base videos, but we have like text, FAQs, files, or URLs. Now, what the AI can actually grab stuff from in chat is from text, from files, and from URLs. It can't do FAQs. So text, like you could just do like all that sort of information in a prompt. If it was too long, put it in here. And so otherwise it's just SMS only. So if you don't want to pay RAG, by the way, RAG's $40 a month. And so if you didn't want to do that, it's best to just put all the company information in here if you're using it for voice. Now, going into dynamic greeting, this is going to be here where it's a custom field called greeting now created. You can always grab it from here, copy it and paste it. It just works the same like how Go High Level fields would. And if the AI is calling someone, the first thing it's going to say is, hey, is this John, for example? This is the custom field pulling the name from their contacts, if they're in contacts. If you're calling people where you don't have their names or something like that, you probably wouldn't want to have that custom field in there. And then if someone is calling the AI, it's going to say, hi, this is Emily. How can I help? Two different things just for each scenario. And we can just put it in here. So it'll fill that field, whether it's an inbound or an outbound call. The next thing is fields and values. So you do have some custom fields here and values. If I resync it more, we'll probably might show up if we've made more. No. Oh wait, this is a demo account, that's why. Yeah, and so you could grab these fields, and these will be more inside the advanced AI tutorial where we'll actually be getting into the prompt. But this is where you can grab fields. Those are your custom fields. You can also grab fields from Go High Level, like I showed you, contact, first name, any of those sort of fields. That'll be in the advanced AI side of things, but that's where you can find them. Next thing, snippets. So you can go through all of these. If I just jump into, for example, like task-based framework, you can see here there's a pre-made full snippet that will get put in that you can then adjust, and you can go through each of them as you like. But yeah, a lot of these, well, like we already have the AI assistants pre-made for you for the most part anyway. But you can come in here, like I'd say get a blank canvas, like a blank assistant, and then you can check out all of them as well to give you any ideas or inspiration when you're making your assistants. Generating prompt is just the prompt generation. And now we actually jump into the cool toolkit. So as you can see here, it's going to allow you to customize a couple things with the assistant and a couple things it can do inside the Go High Level. So it can do things like booking appointments, creating tasks, creating notes, all that sort of stuff. So jumping straight in, the first thing we have is chat settings. Now we're going to have the wait time of how long it takes to respond, and you can just put that in straight here. So if you wanted it to reply 15 seconds later, you can see it changes up here. Here's your max responses. So the max time the AI is going to talk to them before it just stops responding. Now, the temperature is something interesting. So it's going to determine how close the AI actually follows the script. So if you want the AI to follow the script word for word, no matter what, you'd put it on like 0, right? But if you wanted the AI to allow to be a bit more conversational and like use common sense to go outside the box, I would say put it on like 0.3 or 0.4, something like that. If you want it completely open-ended, you can go a bit higher, but that's pretty much just thinking how much the AI follows the script to word for word versus like letting it use its own kind of spin on it, especially based on the personality traits and stuff like that we put up here. That'll, if you have personality traits on how you want it to speak, like if you said like use casual, laid back Australian language, anything like that, the temperature will then allow the AI to like improvise a bit more on its own. Now, sleep mode. What this is going to be doing is it's going to be turning off the AI temporarily if someone replies back manually. So if the AI is texting them and then you see like a person, like a staff member, texts the lead instead, the AI is going to go off for however many minutes you want it to go off for. Next one's purposeful misspellings. So the AI is actually going to be spelling something wrong on purpose to then just make it seem like a bit of a human touch. The way that would work is like it could say, like that could be in one text, and then the next text is going to say that, and it's going to fix their spelling mistake. So that's how that would work. You don't get charged for 2 texts, by the way. It's just like an adjustment in the second text, and it's free. So you could do the probability. So whether you wanted it to be like 0.1%, like 1%, how much you wanted, you wanted the AI to seem a bit more realistic in misspelling, that's an option there. Now we come to the response channels. You can turn these on or off for whatever you want the AI to be replying back on. Of course, there needs to be triggers as well on top of this, which are like in the tutorial videos, the other ones like SMS setup, there might be a social media setup video, all that sort of stuff, but it's just the response channels that the AI can actually reply to. Now, call settings. As we go into these call settings, there is opting out of recordings and transcripts where the AI won't make recordings and won't leave transcripts for you. So if you wanted recordings turned off, you can turn them off here. Here's your max call time, so how long the AI is actually going to be speaking with them before they just hang up. Now, I will warn you, like, if it is something short, you probably want it to be like triple what a normal call would be or something like that. Pretty much this is just to avoid the trolls, I would say. Like if someone's calling the AI and talking to it for way too long, the AI will just hang up on them. So the max call time is 60 minutes. So this will just reduce it from 60 minutes to whatever you put it as. But of course the AI doesn't say, all right, like I'm going to hang up now. The AI just hangs up. So you just want to be careful with that it's pretty much a level that no one would reach unless there was someone like talking to the AI for a super long time for no reason. The silence timeout is if it's like dead air, the AI will end the call after how many minutes. I'd normally put this on 1. Like if it's 1 minute of no one speaking, then you'd probably want the AI to hang up the call to save your voice minutes pricing. We've got background noise as well. So we got no background noise, coffee shop, convention hall, summer outdoor, mountain outdoor, static noise, and call center. You can test these in the voice lab. So if you turn these on, and down here's how loud you want it to be. I would normally keep it on like 0.5 personally, but if you want it louder or quieter, change it to your liking. And so in Voice Lab, that's where you can listen to them and hear what they sound. Or of course, if you call the AI yourself, you're going to hear the background noise there. Rules of engagement. So this is going to be who answers and speaks first. So not so much answers, just who speaks first. So we got the dynamic start where the AI begins talking. So that would mean that as soon as the call is connected, the AI would say whatever the first thing is in tasks. So that would be more so it makes sense for inbound calls, right? For outbound calls, you would do the silent start because you want the person that picks up the phone to say hello, and then the AI starts talking. So the AI remains silent first until that one. And then here's a determined start where it's an exact intro message where you want word for word the exact same start every single time, and the AI is the one that initiates it. But for outbound, I would have the contact initiates. Here's voicemail detection. What I would say for this is to keep it on so it can detect the voicemail. And if you don't want it to say anything and you just want it to hang up straight away, you'd leave this blank. But otherwise, you can say like, hey, it's Emily here. Just give me a call back, for example, if you did want a voice message left. Incoming call webhooks, we don't really need to worry about them right now, but there is an option for this here. Normally, if you're just using everything at Go High Level, you don't need an incoming call webhook. And the post call webhook, you will have seen in the Getting Started guide on setting that up. It's just something that you get out of a pre-made workflow we've created for you. You paste it here, and then you go back and fetch the fields in the Get Started guide. You can clear it here if you need to, if you needed to make a new one. And then getting into the tools and APIs. So this is where things get really fun in terms of the AI's capabilities. And so here we're in the main section here, where the first thing is collecting information. So what the AI can do is the AI can look at a website. So you can prompt the website to scrape or use the contact's website in your instructions. So you could say what the website is in the prompt, turn this tool on, and then you can tell the AI to scrape the website. Now, how the tools work is and this will be in the advanced videos as well, but put an underscore wherever there's spaces. So you could say use tool scrape website, for example. So that's how every single tool and tag works. There needs to be an underscore in between, not a space. So that would be where the underscore would go. The next thing is updating user details in the CRM. So let's say that they have their first name, last name, email, phone number, address, time zone, website. Any of that sort of stuff, the AI can actually collect from them and put it into their contact in Go High Level. So it can update any of that stuff if it needs to. And then we have search in the web, where the AI can actually have a deep search. And so it's going to come back with any sort of information if you needed the AI to search the web for anything. Now, jumping into the calendar management, there's a few options here. So we have the get availability, where it's just the AI checking the availability on the calendars and in your staff's availability when you go to settings in My Staff. That's also going to have a calendar video as well, where we can configure the calendars and get all that up and running. And the next one's just booking an appointment on the calendar and get users calendar events if they have booked an appointment and it's they want to rebook or cancel or change the appointments. And that comes with updating appointment details. So you've got get availability and book appointment, and then check what they've booked, and you can update and alter the booking as well. In terms of this side of things, the interaction creation, we've got create a task. So that's inside, if you go into contacts and tasks, they can create tasks inside the CRM. So if you come in here, there can be tasks made by the AI in here. So going back into the Orbitel AI. The next one is creating a note, where the AI can write notes in the CRM. So normally it's not going to do this unless you actually tell it to. The call ending, where it'll have the call reason, in here. If we click on an opportunity and a note, this isn't the note that I'm talking about. What it would be is a custom note, where you can get the AI to prompt and do something very specific, use tool create underscore note to outline this part of the call, or something like that. So that's a separate note on top of just the basic one that everyone gets when they have the call. And the last one's self-schedule, where the AI can call them back at another time. So what you could do is, if they say, call me in 3 days, or call me at 5 o'clock, call me this afternoon, the AI will then call them back at that time. Now, this has nothing to do with Go High Level automations or anything like that. So it can be something where, if they also get added into an automation to get called back, they can get called back twice or anything like that. So just be cautious using this tool if you do have other automations that can call people back going. Then we just have channel switching, which is if the AI is texting, they can call the user. So if someone says call me and this tool's on, the AI will call them. The other one's an email. Now, the email isn't the most advanced at the moment in terms of the AI being able to grab data if, of course, it's not in the prompt. So you do want to make sure that if you have sent email on, probably that you have a pretty good knowledge base either in the prompt, or you do have knowledge base turned on, and that the AI can actually grab enough data. Otherwise, the AI might just be emailing them and it's information that it doesn't even really have. So you only have that tool on if your knowledge base is pretty good, I would recommend. I forgot to just come into these other sections, but we do have another thing called extractions, where if we do create an extraction, pretty much what this is doing is just grabbing the information. It's like what map custom fields is. It's pretty much just the same as that. It's just an older version. So I'd say mapping custom fields is the better option, but there is also extractions where we can create a tool here and telling it what to do. And then we can also add in the custom field and say when to use this, but it's pretty much just an older version of mapping the custom fields. Transferring calls, you can make it like a transfer call and say, use this tool to transfer the call to Caliph requested, right? And then you can put in the phone number. You can choose if you want the contact's number to be the caller ID. And you can also do warm transfer where the AI will say a message and then it will hang up. Update the number up there as well. The AI will say a message and then hang up. And so it's not going to get charged for voice minutes once the AI hangs up. After that, you can just add tags. Adding tags is a great thing to trigger workflows. So if you make an automation where the trigger is whatever this tag is, then whatever happens in that workflow will happen. Like, so if you did D&D as a tag and you said use this tag to D&D when they don't want to be contacted again, you make the D&D tag and then you could put it in the workflow. It's also things for like registering for things, receiving emails, texts, any of that sort of stuff, updating pipelines. You can do that all by just adding a tag there. Same thing for a moving tag, and customs is actually using webhooks and stuff like that. So if you needed a webhook for anything, you can come in here and create a webhook as well. Now, there's a couple of things up here like examples. So if you wanted to send an invoice, do a support ticket, any of that sort of stuff, there's full examples up here on how to actually do it. Next, we're going into mapping custom fields. Now, this is where we can actually like choose an answer from what the contact says and put it into a custom field in Go High Level. I'll save that in for the advanced tutorial as well, because we'll actually put it into the prompt and get that created. The next one, you just choose a knowledge base. So you can just add a knowledge base to the assistant and see here that it's linked. Same with the calendars. Of course, you can sync your calendars there and the calendars will pop up here. For example, we'll just jump into one of these where I actually have a calendar. You can see here you got some calendar options like that. A big thing, if your calendar isn't popping up, just make sure that it's turned on. That'll be in the calendar video, but you just want to make sure that the calendar is actually not a draft. Now, coming into the find and replace, this is also for SMS. So one thing I love doing in here is replacing exclamation marks with full stops. So if that's in the text, it's going to replace this exclamation mark with a full stop every time. If you find the AI is doing any like AI-ish kind of responses or anything like that, you can always come in here. Like if it's like hello, you could just change it to like hey. If it's like if you think take care might be a bit weird, you could do like see ya, or like just more casual stuff you could do in here in the find and replaces, and then the AI is going to say that instead. Team notes, you can just put anything in here, and as you can see, when a note gets put in, it'll say who it was, the time, and what was done. What I love doing is especially if I'm going to change the prompt up and test something different or anything like that, I would do like draft prompt number 1, and like I could paste this whole prompt in as a draft prompt. Or you could, if you was doing something where like you wanted to just completely change the topic, you could put like old prompt or anything like that. But you can see here, that's when like, if you then make changes and then you don't like them, you can come back in here and see what you had originally rather than just forgetting and starting from scratch again. So that's pretty much the entire AI assistance overview side of things, where everything in here on what you can do. On the left here, you might have seen all this stuff already, but you just got your text inbox, your call center with your call list with all the data. You can see here. Contacts aren't really something we're using right now because they come in through Go High Level anyway. And then you got your knowledge bases. You can see if you got voice ones. You got all your assistants, where you can also create folders for the assistants as well up in here. Here's where you create your assistants. In terms of this, you can also import an assistant with an ID. Like for example, if you copy this ID, not only can you also just duplicate the assistant here, but you can, like if you got one from someone else, you can import it with an ID. Like if you got one from us, for example, like that. And then you got the blank canvas where it's from scratch. And there is flow builder. We'll get into that in another video as well, because it's still in beta, but it's like a bit more if else sort of scenarios. Here's your tags that you'll be able to see. You got your phone numbers. Also you got phone number pools. So you can create pools for your phone numbers, and that will be in the advanced AI video as well. But you can just add multiple numbers in here, make it in a pool, and then go into your automations. And on the Make AI action call button in your automation, you can add in the number pool ID. So that's also something cool that we'll put in the advanced AI video. Your widgets. So a widget, like if I go into this, for example, this is my widget up here once it loads in. So this is my widget where I can actually talk to the AI. We'll have that in another video on how to make widgets as well, but I have an AI widget on my website. That's an option there. Then you just come in your typical settings, and you do have some help in here as well.